Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that's it's kind of covered in the Overwatch commentary community, the discussion topic type community, but I feel like it's not covered in the same context that I'm going to talk about it in today. And as you can tell by the title, today we are going to be talking about niche heroes. Now, niche heroes are heroes that are useful in a very specific set of circumstances. So, the easiest that you can see on the screen in front of you, the easiest one to pick off the top of the head is Symmetra. Now, Symmetra, I think everyone can say, is a very niche hero. She has a very defined type role that people can push the borderline of, and that's going to lead us to a video coming later down the line, and actually not that far down the line, coming soon, with my opinions and my thoughts about one-tricking. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. But again, we're going to talk about niche heroes and what I think it means for the game, what I think it means for balance, and kind of what niche heroes do to the game in general. So, like I said, I'm going to be using Symmetra for this example. Symmetra, I feel like everybody feels or everybody knows that she's a very niche hero. Her most usable standpoint is the first set of defense on a lot of attack, escort, and sometimes escort maps. The first ones that come to mind, Nimbani, Hollywood is a really big Symmetra map. But people will always push the boundaries with what you can do with a niche pick. They'll always push the boundaries into playing those niche picks as one tricks, and they'll always push the boundaries of introducing those very niche picks like Symmetra, like Torbjorn, into the capture point maps. And even some, obviously some of them are even good on the 2CP maps. Symmetra has a lot of usage on 2CP for Temple of Anubis off the top of my head. So the thing about niche picks, and I think the underlining thing here that I want to discuss is the fact that in a game of Overwatch, there are 12 heroes to be picked. Out of those 12 heroes, we have to understand that it is going to be 100% normal to see overlap of heroes, because that's how the game works. So in terms of balance, we're not going to see 12 original heroes played. We will pretty much almost never see that. And which means that half of the game's roster is at minimally, not seeing play. So this comes into the talk of balance. You're going to see those Soldier 76s. You're going to see the Reinhardts or the Winstons or the Lucios. And it doesn't really leave a lot of room for niche picks to be considered by the perspective of the community a strong pick. When you only have 2 DPS positions, maybe attack Torbjorn's just not the greatest. And maybe he's not the greatest because, definition of meta is to find the best way to win. He wouldn't be the best in that scenario. And he's a very niche type hero. He's a very, defensive, good type hero to play on the first, maybe even second point of defense on a lot of maps. And same for Symmetra. Now you look at heroes like Reaper, very good counter pick, but you hardly will pick Reaper and go out of the gate with a Reaper. And there are other heroes in the game like that as well. Junkrat off the top of my head. There's really almost no reason to pick Junkrat, it feels like. And we'll have to explore the inner workings of Junkrat at a later time. But niche heroes are an interesting perspective or an interesting topic within Overwatch because they drive a form of collaborative opinion throughout the community. I think everybody will agree with me that when you queue into a game of Overwatch, you would prefer to have a soldier instead of a Torbjorn. You would prefer to have 2 healers instead of, a 1 healer in Symmetra, or even 2 healers in Symmetra. It just doesn't always feel the best. But there has to be room for people to play those heroes, and I think it's fair to allow people to push the boundaries and to formulate a strategy that doesn't have to be the most updated version of meta, but does have to be a well-planned, strategy. If you're gonna play a team that has a Symmetra on attack, maybe you'll pick something that's aggressive so you can give her room. You can dive in, give her room. Or maybe you play very passive. You want to give her room to set up near y'all and hope the other team, draw in for an overextend, or, inch your way forward and take ground with Symmetra. If you have a Torbjorn, maybe you want to double up on shields, play, Ryan and Orisa on a payload. So there are things you can do. You know, there are ways that you can make that Reaper pick better by picking someone like Lucio, maybe playing him behind the Reinhardt and speeding in at the same time, making sure that he gets the most out of his distance. And I think that the niche heroes and the way that they're played is going to always be in air quotes problem for the game, because there will always be the people that want to gravitate to the unpopular or the character that they found most fun. And for me, being an almost one-trick Genji, I understand that. Now, obviously, I didn't gravitate towards Symmetra or Torbjorn or Junkrat, but there are players who have done so, and I don't blame them for that. They've paid the same amount of money, and we're going to talk about that in the one-trick video. But I do think it's important to understand the usage of these different heroes and open your mind a little bit to the possibilities of having them in different scenarios. And there's really not much more to it than that. There will be more heroes coming in Overwatch. There will be more heroes that come out that are not going to just be at the top of meta. And there will always be heroes that will see overlap and a lot of play. And there will always be heroes that don't see that much play and will be played exclusively because of that reason, because of one-tricking, and because of defiant, rebellious players in Overwatch that I think, in all fairness, have their own right and reason to do so. So that's my thoughts on niche heroes. I think it's a topic to be explored. I think it's something that not necessarily needs to be discussed, but definitely should be understood. You have to understand that Symmetra is going to go into the game, and like I said, I used her as a lot as an example this video, but you have to know that she's going to go into a game with her strengths regardless of whether or not she's filling her niche. So play with that Symmetra. Play with that Torbjorn. See what happens. And, they don't necessarily have to be a one-trick, but they might be. Let me know how your games go. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please do not leave without leaving a like, and I'll see you guys for the next video.